Hey there, I'm Lacetia Walker, a mom, educator, wife, sister, girlfriend, cousin, advocate, a believer, and a joy seeker. And I'm also the host of the Joy-Filled Educator Podcast, where we're talking real talk, stories, lessons, belly laughs, and a whole lot of inspiration and joy. So if life's been a little messy, a little full, or just a lot, then guess what? You belong here. And I can't wait to share this space with you. Listen, you play a role in this too. Please like and subscribe, write a positive comment, then share this podcast with a friend. And let the countdown to joy begin. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in again to the Joy-Filled Educator. This episode is entitled From Promise to Purpose, Empowering the Next Generation with Star Essence. Let me tell you guys, this is such a privilege for me today. It's a privilege because Star is someone that I've known for a long time. Oh, she's already on stage. I didn't even get a chance to say anything. Hey, Star, welcome. Hey. Listen, this podcast is all about where passion meets play and legacy is built on love. We're actually in this episode moving from striving to thriving in our communities, in our classrooms, and in our calling. And also, we're talking about girls, groups, and gatherings. This is going to be so important for you all to listen to. So if you don't have your journal and your pen and all the other kind of stuff ready, go grab it, because Star is going to be letting loose some real important information for our young people today. And I'm very excited to have her. Again, I'm your host, and today's episode is truly special because today we're talking about purpose, we're talking about promise, and the power of pouring into others. Now, as educators, mothers, aunties, mentors, and people who stand in the place of others, leaders as well, we often plant seeds we may never see grow. But every now and then, we get the gift of witnessing the harvest. And today, I get to sit with someone who represents exactly that for me. I'm joined by Star Essence. Hey, Star. Yes, Star Essence from Morning Star International is a nonprofit located in Atlanta, Georgia, and they're doing powerful work to uplift students, young people, and open doors to opportunity. And again, I said what makes this meaningful for me is that I've known Star since she was in middle school. Can you believe it? A whole grown up now. And even then, there was something special about her. So not just potential, but presence, right? And I want to pause right here for those people, educators and adults who are listening, because sometimes what we see in students and in young people is not just who they are, it's also who they're becoming. So we need to make sure that we're paying close attention to not just who they are, but also in who they're becoming. So today, you're going to hear what that becoming looks like. Star, I want to share a quote before we get really deep into what you're going to share with us. And that quote is, when you walk in your purpose, you don't just change your life. You become a doorway for others to walk through theirs. And that's what you are, Star. You're a doorway for many other people. Yeah, you are. So let's start here, Star. Yep. Can you take us back to how you came upon your journey and what led you into the work that you're doing today?
Oh, it's quite interesting. So I went to the great HBCU of Tennessee State University, Michigan. That's where me and Miss Walker know each other from. She was my middle school teacher back at Jackson. But nonetheless, what happened and led to this journey is basically when I was at TSU studying to be an accountant, I thought I was going to be a CPA. And probably my senior year, I started feeling this urge and this yearning to help the young people who came behind me. Now, keep in mind, I was doing this type of work even as a young person. When I was in middle school, I was going back to my elementary school and helping those who came after me, like, hey, this is what you need to know for middle school. This is what you need to know for this. This is what you need to know for that. And so I did that continuously all the way up until I got to my collegiate level. And then, like I said, in my senior year in college, that's when I realized that I had a calling to help mentor and guide the youth. And I was scared. I ain't gonna tell no lie. I was scared at first. I was like, oh, God, I'm supposed to be a CPA. I'm supposed to be making money. I want to work for Coca-Cola. Like, I already had
get that
my
good
goals
job
and dreams in place. And so that didn't happen like that, of course. So when I graduated from Tennessee State, I stayed in Nashville for 3 years. And in that 3-year time frame, that's when I started creating the infrastructure for Morningstar International. I came up with a name with one of my best friends at the time. And we both came up with the name Morningstar International and came to Atlanta and moved to Atlanta in 2007 and in 2008. That's when I created Morningstar International, not knowing anything about the nonprofit world. Let's be clear about that.
Okay.
And and had to bump my head a couple of times in that process. But nonetheless, I met a guy by the name of John Eaton, who's a guru in the nonprofit space here in Atlanta. And he basically led me to greatness and to not give up and to basically lead the youth in such a way that even if I have to do it by myself, I'm still doing the work that God called me to do. So he encouraged me in that type of way. And we've been in business almost 20 years now. It'll be 20 years. It'll be 20 years in 2028. So we almost there. 18 years.
Wow, that is fabulous. That's fabulous, Star Essence. And I didn't even know all of that. That is wonderful. And so we really need to take note when students are exposed to the possibility, like you were at Tennessee State with John Eaton, when people are exposed, young people are exposed to the possibility, they can begin to see themselves differently. And what you're doing is not just giving resources, you're also shaping reshaping their identity. And when a person has their identity shift, everything else follows. You can kind of imagine yourself being something else. So let me ask you, when did you realize this? You kind of shared it. When did you realize this was your calling to support and uplift students in this way? Can you reiterate that for us?
Yes. So like I said, when I was at TSU, Tennessee State, I had that urge. I was scared at first. And then something just told me to take a leap of faith when I moved to Atlanta. I met John Eaton. I had met many people at that point, but John Eaton is the one who helped me start the nonprofit correctly. Now, keep in mind, I started the nonprofit incorrectly, all by myself. I did everything by myself.
You were doing it. Yep.
It was all wrong.
But you're still making an impact, though.
Yes, I was still doing the work. But as far as the infrastructure, I did my articles of incorporation totally wrong because I didn't know anything about the nonprofit space. So I did it as if I was starting a for-profit. But nonetheless, when I realized that this was a passion of mine, I remember I was unemployed at a time, and I was still eager and hungry to go out and help the youth. So even in my unemployment, not getting a paycheck, not getting any money coming in from no sources, not even Morningstar at that time, I still was doing the work and I still felt fulfilled. So then I knew, oh my God, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, is helping the young people and helping them make choices that would catapult their lives in the right direction, whether it be through the programs that we have, like college preparation, financial literacy, picking and choosing the right career pathways for them. Not everybody is, designed to go to college and things of that nature. Some people are entrepreneurs. So we also have an entrepreneur program. We have programs that will also steer them in their career choices, whether they decide to go to college or not. And then we just recently added the mental health awareness piece during the pandemic, because we realized a lot of urban youth were committing suicide during that time, and then also having just mental health issues that we weren't having necessarily as much before. So, Morningstar definitely fills my soul and my heart, and it just make me feel so good, even if I'm getting paid or not. So a lot of times that's when you found your place.
Absolutely. And a lot of people are still searching for that place. So it is so wonderful that you found it. I mean, some people are really still searching for that activity or for that career or for just that pathway in order for it to fill their soul, and they haven't gotten there yet. So I commend you on that. It's really exciting. Yeah, that whole piece about the mental health, that's really, really important now. I know when you guys were in school, we didn't have that many issues, or we weren't aware of them with, young people and having the challenging mental health issues. But I think, Renaissance High School in Detroit, Michigan. That's one of the schools. It's a very, very high performing school, but it's also a school where there are a lot of suicidal ideations over there, probably more the most in the city out of all of the public schools in Detroit. And so there's a lot of pressure that that's being put on kids. A lot of kids are under pressure for their through their families or through their activities or through social media, and we have got to address that and support them in that way. And I'm so glad that you're a part of doing that too. Okay, Star. Yeah,
it's a unique place, especially for urban youth, because we never dealt with anything of that magnitude in recent years, of course, and just having like people of that age bracket dealing with stuff that adults deal with. Yeah. And then they trying to maneuver it and manage that. So you can imagine like the stress and the tension on a kid dealing with adult issues. And that plays a role with that mental health issue.
Absolutely, because they're not prepared for it. It's difficult oftentimes for the adults to deal with it. So if you think about a teenager whose prefrontal cortex is not even developed and they haven't had the experiences to know how to deal with it appropriately, absolutely it is. Yeah. Okay, Star, great work. So now I'm really excited about this next part of your work. Can you tell us a little bit more about the event that you're hosting that's going to connect students with grants and with scholarships? Tell us a little more about that.
Yes, I'm so excited. So this is the second year that we're doing a scholarship and grant success webinar. And basically it's open to the whole United States. It's open to the public.
Wonderful. Because you are international, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So it's open for everyone of any age who's looking to get more information about college preparation, specifically scholarships and grants. Seniors in high school have a chance to win a scholarship, which I'm so excited about this part, because a lot of times what steers a lot of students, including myself when I was in high school, away from applying for scholarships, I was lazy. I didn't want to write the essay. I'm going to just keep it real. And a lot of students don't want to write the essay. So what we do is here at Morningstar International, we help students compete for scholarships through a video. So they have 60 seconds. They have 60 seconds to give their pitch on why college is important to them, not their mama, not their daddy, not their teacher, not their principal, not their pastor, none of them. But why college is important to them. And in 60 seconds, they present themselves and they send it to, of course, Morningstar email, which is info@reachastar.org. And basically, we have a panel of judges who selects the winners for that scholarship. And so it's a $500 scholarship that they can win just from presenting themselves on a video at their best self as to why college is important to them. Now, some people may say, well, Star, what if I don't want to go to college? What if I just want to start my own company when I graduate from high school? Well, great, because we also, if you decide not to go to college, we will invest the $500 to help you start your company. So either way, you have a win-win situation. And keep in mind, it's open to the public. So you don't have to be a Morningstar scholar to win the scholarship. You just have to put forth the effort and send a video, and hopefully you're one of the people who win.
That's excellent. That is really excellent. It's really important, especially for students who may not otherwise be exposed to those types of scholarships. And you're right. Sometimes it's difficult to for them to get them to write those essays and to really focus in on what they're being asked to do. So I love the opportunity for them to deliver their information through a video. And they're so accustomed to doing that with TikTok and Instagram and with all that other stuff. You're right in the pocket of where our students nowadays need to be, right? I love this work because, again, it's rooted in access. And to be honest, there are so many students who are capable, who are brilliant already, but they lack access. And so you're providing that for them. And that's wonderful. Yeah. And access, again, is not just about opportunity. It's also about awareness. And many students don't apply. Right? Many students don't apply. So I'm glad that you are able to provide that for them. Okay, Star, tell me something else. Tell me something else. Give us some other information.
What else do you want to know?
Let's see. Okay, even though it's you're going to host the event, is it going to be in person or is it going to be virtual?
So the event is going to be virtual. So they have to go to Eventbrite to register. I can send you the information to send to your audience, but they can go and find it. It's under Morningstar International as the organizer on an Eventbrite, so they can go there to actually, register for the event, or they can follow Morningstar INTL on Facebook, Instagram, and we have the information there as well. So either platform they can find us.
Okay, very good. And then I've been sharing it with students at the high school where I am oftentimes in, and I've been kind of sharing it around and encouraging kids to share with each other. And they've been pretty excited about, taking a look and learning more information. So I really appreciate you for that. Yeah. And,
not a problem.
Yeah. And in some buildings, I think they don't really focus on kids going to college in some spaces. Sometimes they're really pushing kids toward the trades. And again, you did emphasize that college isn't for everybody, right? It's just not. But it's really important for them to do some kind of career cruising to find out where they fit best as far as their personality and their abilities and things that they like to do. And so that's really great that they have an opportunity to do that with your organization as well.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So I want to know about you. Can you share, maybe if we get a little more personal, can you share a challenge that you were faced with and how you were able to overcome it just in your life or with your business? Can you share another challenge with us, please?
Oh, yeah.
People need to hear the truth behind the success.
Listen, when I tell you I have experienced so many different challenges since I left Detroit, which was at 17 years old. But nonetheless, I will give you guys a more recent, more fresh challenge that I had to face with back in 2024. So I worked in corporate, of course. I didn't always work for myself. And even when I was working for myself, I was still working in corporate. And so I was working for this corporation. I worked there for almost 8 years. I thought it was going to be my, retirement space, but nonetheless, I had a situation with that particular employer and I ended up getting fired. Right. So when you're getting fired, and it's in 2024, this is 2024, I get fired from my job in my 40s. And so you're like, wait.
Yeah, I bet you had to you were standing on something. I know you were standing on business, right?
Listen,
sometimes we have to.
And, sometimes people think they can just nitpick or try to belittle you in such a way. And sometimes you have to stand up for yourself. So, of course, I stood up for myself and I was standing on business on something that I felt in my heart was not right. So, anywho, they let me go behind that. And nonetheless, I was scared at first because I'm like, I'm in my 40s. I get fired from my job. The economy is not doing so well.
Right.
Black women are getting fired at the
all
highest
over
rate
the place.
In history.
Yes.
And it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do at this point? So nonetheless, of course, I still was on my grind. I still was doing Morningstar, of course, but I had to pivot. And a lot of times we have to pivot in challenges. We can't just do the same thing and think we're going to get better results. We have to change what we're doing in order to get better results.
Absolutely.
So I was invited to, make a long story short, I was invited to this tech company conference or tech conference. And my corporate job was in tech, even though I'm not a techie, it was in tech. And so make a long story short, I got invited to that conference. I met a lady who took me under her wings. It was nothing but God, to be honest.
Wow.
She took me under her wings. She helped me start my for-profit. I had already, so this is how God works too, because I had already started this company at the pandemic because I said, okay, it's a pandemic, so I'm going to start this company. I filed for the LLC and everything, never did anything with it. Never. Okay. But I had that strategy and what I wanted to do in my head, just never took action. So I met this lady and basically she took me under my wing, and that was the ignition or the fire that I needed to get in order to start the company that I foresaw in 2020. And I started that IT consulting company in 2024, December. Got clientele before I even was ready to get clientele.
Really?
God is, and I keep referencing God. I know a lot of times people are like, why she keep saying God and this and that? But I have to give glory to where glory is due. So God opened up a door for me to explore the entrepreneurship in the for-profit space as an IT consulting company, training company. The name of that company is Educate to Empower. We service government, municipalities, mid-level market enterprises, small businesses as well. But we help them basically go from their legacy system to a more cloud-based, ERP solutions-based software system. And then we train them and have ongoing support for them as well. So we train them, we consult, we also advise them on what solutions will be best for their organizational needs and how to also go through that change. Because a lot of times when they have that, when they're going through IT changes and stuff like that, a lot of people drop off. A lot of people going to say, okay, I'm done. I've been with this company for 20 years or 10 years. I don't have to do this anymore. But we basically also do change leadership to help with that turnover rate as well. So
that's awesome. Thank you very much. You stood on business there. That was really good. Yep. And considering that we live in a world where we celebrate outcomes, that is amazing. But I want to go back just a little bit. Yeah, sometimes we are in positions, and as women, sometimes we stay in situations where it's difficult, or we're being demeaned, or where we're being spoken to in a way that's not appropriate. And I recently had that issue last week, as a matter of fact, and I stood all the way on business. It's like, I've been doing this thing too long for you to think that you can talk to me like you talk to others because you have whatever personal issues going on with yourself. It's absolutely unacceptable. I have nothing to do with that. And you may not speak to me or treat me in that way. And so it's interesting, though. I think a lot of some administrators and some higher ups need to maybe have some kind of sensitivity training, or how do you work and talk with your employees? I'm not sure, but something needs to happen.
Yeah, they need to be sensitive to what people are dealing with on a daily basis. Everybody is dealing with something, but at the same token, you cannot, like you say, you cannot demean or try to talk to a grown person as if you were talking to a child. That's not going to work, especially not in this day and age. Not in this day and age. And if you want results, then, you need to change your approach anyway. Everyone's going to make mistakes or not make mistakes, and people have opinions and ideas about the way things should be done. And it's not just a one size fit all. So, they need to get with the program. That's all I can say. Yeah. And I'm so glad that you didn't hide the struggle, and you're not hiding the struggle, put you in a better position. Yes. And I just want to note that struggle is not a sign that you're off track. It's often a confirmation that you're growing, and you proved that. Yeah. Let me ask you, what did that teach you about yourself in that particular instance? Right. You said, I'm 40. I really don't need to be losing a job or anything, at this day and age. But what did that tell you about yourself? It taught me a lot. It taught me, for one, that I have to bet on myself. That was one of the main things that I learned from that whole experience. Bet on yourself, but not only bet on yourself, bet on God as well.
Absolutely.
And then I also learned that I'm very resilient. Regardless of what I go through and who try to throw stones at me or whatever the case may be, I'm still going to bounce back regardless of what goes on. So I realize I'm resilient. And I also want to say that, a lot of times people be wanting a change in their life, right? They be wanting things to happen. But then they're sitting on the couch. And I'm like, no, you cannot sit on the couch and expect that things is going to change. So what I realized also, too, about myself is that faith without works is dead. So if you don't do nothing, don't be expecting no real outcome. So I knew that I had to get out there and network with all different types of people, put myself in a position to be hireable, even if it is through a contract, So, I just realized I have to put myself out there in any way possible, in any way, shape, or possibility that will give me the results that I want. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. Faith without works is dead. And that's true. You cannot just sit there expecting for it to come to the door. It's not coming. Oftentimes, you got to get up and get out and do what move in that direction. So he'll have something to bless, right? Yep. And that's where confidence is built, not in comfort, but I think more so in overcoming. Oh, this has been wonderful. Yeah, it's been wonderful. So listen, before you go, I want to shift to something just briefly. Yeah, because there are young women and young girls listening right now. And I heard we're going to have some guys too that's listening. I had a few guys say, hey, guys can't come? I said, yeah, guys can come. You can talk. Yeah, and you can listen too. Yeah, so there may be some women or some girls or even some guys kind of questioning themselves. What's one message that you would share, I'm going to say with women and girls who may be doubting their path or their purpose right now?
Something that I hold close to my heart, and I will share with you guys too, is never settle for less than your heart desire of true happiness.
Yeah.
My mom gave me that when I was 17 years old, when I graduated from high school, and I kept that near and dear to my heart. So never settle for less than your heart desire of true happiness. So that means don't go below the belt or go below your means or try to, make somebody else feel good. Make sure you make sure yourself feel good first.
That's right.
Before anyone else.
That is great advice. That is great advice. Confidence too. Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah, you're out here trying to make everybody else feel good and you're killing yourself. Yeah, no. That's great advice. Confidence is not something that you wait to feel either. And I think that's great. If it's something you decided that you want to practice, you need to practice it. So many women shrink themselves. They second guess themselves. They wait for permission. But hear me and hear Star clearly. Hear us clearly. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to grow out loud. And you are allowed to become whatever it is that you want to be. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Star, thank you so much. That's right. Right here is a place for our healing. Yeah, thank you.
We all need healing.
That's right. Can you give us a little more information or just reiterate your information about your upcoming event in April and where the audience can reach you? Awesome.
Yes. So the event is called Scholarships and Grants Success Webinar. It's going to be on, its registration is through Eventbrite. You guys can find us on Instagram or Facebook to get more information at Morningstar INTL. So at Morningstar INTL, you can also email us at info@reachastar.org. So that's info@reachastar.org. Or you can go to our website, which is reachastar.org. So reachastar.org, you can find us.
Yeah. Okay. So very good. Before we go, I have a journal and I always want people, it doesn't have to be this journal, but a journal. You guys, we got to do a quick activity. My husband always say, listen, you always say, this is not school. Yes, it is. It's always an opportunity to learn or write, right?
Amen.
So for those of you listening, take a quick, deep breath in and out. Just one deep breath is fine. And we want you to sit with this question. Where in your life are you being called to step into your purpose? Again, think about or write it down. Where in your life are you being called into your purpose? Even if it feels uncomfortable, just sit with that for a moment. We want you all to really think about it because it's really important that you think about it if you want to move forward, because again, Star mentioned that it's not coming to you. Faith without works is dead. So if you want something, you got to get out there and start moving in that direction so he'll have something to bless. Yep. Think about, again, that information, but also think about what is one gift or strength that you have that could open doors for someone else. And also how you begin using that work this week. Don't overthink it, but keep it in mind, write it down, and maybe come up with some ideas of how you can help someone else. You guys, this episode, before I go, was sponsored by, let me show you, Daily Joy Coffee Co. Daily Joy Coffee Co. Yeah, our episode was sponsored by Daily Joy Coffee Co. You can reach us at dailyjoycoffeeco.com. So please order your coffee. We have specially great coffee designed to delight your guests if you are serving it for others, but it's also rooted in exceptional flavor. And Star, I don't know if you know it, it also pours into the lives of young women between the ages of 18 and 25 through Elevate All, which is our nonprofit partner. And their mission is to provide self-care for young women, to help build their self-esteem, and to help them as far as leadership skills are concerned, developing those leadership skills. So thank you so much, Star. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Okay, take good care. We'll see you in April at the event.
Yes, April 19th.
April 19th, everybody. Thanks so much. Take care, everyone. See you next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye.